All right, guys. It is another day. Another day. I'm going to share my multiple screens here. So that's why I'm looking at different things here. A lot of solid plays. Super excited. Got some open positions. Looking at INBS, a continuation play. Let's just take a look at INBS. This is like you kind of have to understand the market you're in and how to trade it. Um, it's pretty interesting. So with IMBS, we have a really huge gap that's probably not going to get filled, but we're down here. We tested 1521, we failed, and I think it's a continuation play, and so I'm going to try to get some points out for IMBS. Yeah, I think I think this will be a solid play. It's silver is completely dying. I mean, so yesterday got we were live streaming and I mentioned I was shorting down a VWAP. It was 70, I think it was like 7120 or 7130. Can't remember. It was pre-market and I got filled on most of my shares. Yeah, right here on this flush. And I got filled and I had a out at 7135, which was the low here. Right here. The low was 7135 and it didn't fill me. And so I ended up getting stuck in this trade and I got squeezed out. Um, Ended up reloading up here and then, clearly got squeezed out. But, this candle looked just hideous. It looked pretty bad. It looked pretty bad. So if we go to, let's see, silver, where's my SLV? Like this just looked really bad, right? Like you had these sort of doji candles with these long rejection candles, and we're going up. And I'm like, well, don't we need to kind of close this here, right? Like flush this out and close a lot of these gaps and really establish a valid support. I mean, maybe it's here, maybe it's somewhere right around here at the 65, we're way above the 20 day. And so this was just a very like scratch your head move. And clearly we can see, right, high volume going up, just a short squeeze. And then what do? They drop it the next day. And so shorting typically, what I would say is, waiting for that gap down, right? So you're going up, up, up. People are holding like, oh yeah, this thing's going to 80, $100 tomorrow. Right? And then they gap it down. So this is the gap down, and this is where you want to short into that line right there, right? That's 72. So you had this sort of resistance that, and you can see it was this breakout, and this is the 15-minute chart. And so you see that 72.13. So if you see that 72.13 right here, that area right there, that's the resistance. This guy here, I got a small position. It had positive phase one, MR, what is this? Glue. There's a gap on the daily. Let me see if I can open up another chart. That'd probably be helpful. So I could actually show you guys. Let me take a let's look at the daily. And I got charts everywhere. So if I'm looking up and down, it's just trying to get through. But so if we look at glue, this thing would update, which it looks like it's not going to do that, which is fine. If you look at glue, glue is trading way up here. And this is very similar to what was that yesterday, MSTS or MNTS. Yeah, I think it was ALMS, excuse me. So this one reminds me of ALMS, just a massive squeeze on good news. And so I'm looking at a similar play for here. There's actually a gap too on the chart, which, again, I can just see people trying to squeeze this stock and try to see. I don't know if we'll get there. Again, trading is risky. I was up a point on this trade. I didn't even take it out. Just put a small size in, stress-free trade right here, right? So I could see this thing squeeze into 29.84 or potentially just a sell-off, right? It's a phase one. It's positive, but there's a likelihood this thing could squeeze up. So, put in a small size, nothing too serious. That's just how I trade. I don't want to get stuck in things that, so if I don't have to. So, maybe risk a buck, but clearly there's, 4 or 5 points at play here, right? If we get back up to the high 20s, easily 4 or 5 points to risk $1. Pretty good trade there. But silver is probably the one I'm most excited about. Like I said, I was short any pops. I don't even think we're gonna get that high. To be honest, I don't see us getting that high. I see that I just see a lot of people stuck in this trade. I just see a good flush candle. And so, not buying puts just yet, especially after what I saw after hours yesterday. Again, guys, study the trend. Study the trend of what you're seeing. So look what happened on this day, right? We had this run, gap down, sold off like it is today, ran back, consolidated, and then boom, broke highs. And so this could be nothing more than, coming back to some of these lows, right? Sort of in the mid 60s here, flushing out people and then running back up, and, it's uptrending, right? This is clearly still uptrending. So this is just simply a pullback, but it's uptrending. So, I mean, don't be surprised if you see this thing, retest 75. But what I'd like to see is a flush candle to kind of fix this chart, which is what I was mentioning here with all these gaps and dojis. That just yesterday's move made no sense to me whatsoever. Like, that was such an odd move, right? So let's flush all these candles out. Let's get to some type of support in the mid 60s, and then we can run back up. But clearly this thing is still trending up. But anyone who was trading yesterday essentially is stuck. So that sucks. Hard to hold things overnight. And so I'm still short the position, and I got my outs. I'm taking my outs all the way down. Probably leave some shares just to kind of see how low, but I'm so in the money. And that's the great thing, is when you're trading, with edge and confidence, that you can let a trade just work for you. We're always taking scalps out, but we'll let losers run, but we don't let winners run. And so I'm going to let this winner run. I'm already $2 in the money. And so we're just going to let it run and see where it goes. I have outs pretty much every quarter going down 69. And then I'll probably just let a final piece and kind of see where this thing wants to run to. I honestly don't even see us getting back to this level. At most, maybe we get to 7. I just don't see it. It's just so weak, and it's selling off so much that I can see people trying to dip buy, and sellers are just selling and getting out of this thing. So I wouldn't be interested in longing silver if I had a position. So that's just how I would play it. And we're about to break 70 again. So if we're already 60, we're already almost $4 under the close yesterday. So solid trade. Not not ready to buy puts just yet. I haven't seen the validation of my thing. Coin guys, I mentioned to you guys yesterday I was buying calls. It actually was a good play, but the way we opened, right? We are up in the money. I started buying them around, I said 253. We squeezed up to 258, tested this resistance, tested this, broke it, and then we squeezed back right up, and we actually closed over the 20-day EMA. So as I mentioned before, to me, we should have pushed up here. This is my exit around 300. We failed to do that. Now we're pushing up again, a secondary push. So I see this as a reversal pattern. So I bought some calls up here that I'm expecting to come in, and I got confirmation on the momentum. And we can also see that the slope of the signal and the MACD line is positive. So, give it some time to work. Doesn't Calls are hard. You can't call in the day before. It usually takes a few days to work. And so, at least I'll start selling into this push back up to here into the 280 range. I'll start selling, and then I might leave a final piece to see if we can actually get up to the 300 range. Um, so, we'll see how that works. Let's see. Silver still hovering around 70. Glue, GLUE, like I mentioned, small position. I was up a buck. I didn't take it out. I don't know why it's not showing up here. That's fine. Let's just add it here. So glue, I was up a buck. I'm just gonna let this thing sort of ride. It's gonna be a lot of people are gonna be stuck in the stock. So if you're short, I mean this stock has actually ran quite a bit from 5. It's already kind of tripled. So I think it has a lot of room to run. And based on previous, it looks like it has plenty of space, but I'm not going to hold it for the full move, but I'll be selling on the way up. So try to get, risk a dollar, try to get at least 3-4 points is what the goal is there. So if we look at like a 1 minute candle, you can see that we had a topping. So this is where people are going to start looking to short. And I mentioned to you guys on the daily that there's actually a gap here at 20. What is this right here? At like 29.30. And so if we trap a lot of people, we might be able to get up there. And the folks that I'm talking about trapping are the ones who started shorting here. And and maybe it doesn't happen, right? That's the thing with trading, it's an idea. And some of those ideas are wrong, but look at this heavy volume buying and look at this very low volume selling. All right. So there's a lot of people buying the stock, very low volume selling. And so I would love to see a halt up. I don't know. I wouldn't risk more than a dollar, but clearly you can see the volumes died down. But I think the longs are in this trade and it's consolidated pretty good. So you see this break right here of 22.45. That's where you want to essentially you could and there might be a kind of a get you out of the trade candle. You never know. That always happens. So oh yeah, looks like silver just broke. Look at that. There you go, guys. Live trading. We don't just show it after the fact. We talk about it. There it is, guys. Just broke. And it looks like I just got another piece out. So just solid trade for me. Next out 69.51, 51 specifically, because that's what they do. But like I said, I just don't see us getting back up here. I'm very extremely no volume. This is where the volume is at. And so, maybe you get up to 71, but I don't see it. Honestly, I see this thing just selling off. Yeah, just solid trade. I'm super stoked. This has been one of my larger winners. I think the biggest one we mentioned of the year is going to be AppLovin, the puts, just because you're not going to get those types of flushes, and this thing is just giving you so many points a day. I mean, look at this move here. A high and a low, you have 37 points that this thing moves. So it's super risky. I'm still actually long-term long on the stock. It earns a lot of the price to earnings ratio is actually pretty good, and it has a lot of room to grow. So it's definitely, I think, on its way to 1,000. But where do you want to buy this that long? Where do you want to validate that? And that's always the question. So not right now, not with negative momentum. I want, see the RSI sold. I want to be convinced. Maybe get in the low fives, like where you have this massive support at the kind of the 5.25. We dipped below 5 and we got bought up, but I'm just not convinced this move's done. Um, so that's what I would say. Let's see here. Like Tesla is a good example, right? So if we look at Tesla, let's look at Tesla on the daily. So we call that 690 on the recap channel. A couple, oh geez, these charts, man. That always right here. We had it on a recap. Go back and watch it right here at 489. And when Tesla tried it once, twice, three, four times, just could not break it. It said, all right, let's start. And we saw the MACD and the signal line cross over and the downslope, and we just, bam, a lot of negative momentum. So, with that app 11, you simply have what I call the dead cat bounce, right? So you drop massively, you boop, dead cat bounce, and you continue to drop. So I'm just not, I don't mind logging the stock as a swing and, look at maybe doing some option plays probably is what I'd be interested in maybe. But I wouldn't be interested at this early in the game when we were just at 732. What was this? Pretty much at the end of the trading year. So once I can see, something down here, because, it's an expensive stock, right? It's 500, you know, like if you're buying down here, right? Or let's go back to app, right? It's like a 500, $600 stock. So it's not a cheap stock. So what I'm thinking is if we can base back down here, because we've already closed this gap, but if we can essentially hold this consolidation level, buy some calls 3, 4, 5 months out, to break through that sort of $700 ceiling as it continues to grow. I think it's gonna be solid. Um, Besides that, guys, not super active. Glue's not really doing anything, so I don't know if I'm convinced it's gonna move. We're at the 6 o'clock. We failed to break VWAP, so that makes me a little nervous. But like I said, I'll risk a dollar. So just you know, risk a dollar. We had this move up and it failed. Can we get up, or do we just end up selling off? So that's what I would say is at play right now, but it's not really doing anything. But there's not a lot of volume on the sell side, so I think let's see here. What else do we have? That's what I'd be looking at. It just keeps rejecting. I had this run up here. Like I said, I was up almost a buck. I didn't sell anything, but I don't know. It's a good news article, and I think it'd be a great squeeze. It's already squeezed up like $6, $7. So let's see what this thing wants to do. Maybe just halt on the way down. Like you just don't know with these things. But like I said, just due to the low volume of selling, I just feel like they can easily run this up and halt this thing up. It could be quite the gapper. So that's what I have in mind, guys. Feel free to add a comment below. Let me know what you're looking at. And yeah, a lot of good plays. So with glue, again, it's a runner. I would do a stop right here at 2250. And like I said, this could be just like our ALMS yesterday. Okay. Just let it run let it run like this pre-market, right? This is what we saw yesterday. So let's see what we can do. Um, IMBS is interesting. I was playing this as a continuation play, but I don't see a lot of volume, but I can see them running this, you know, like just like we've talked about, this has been the trend of the market. So you have these high volume days, you have no liquidity the next day, and then bam, they run it and then they hold it. And so I still think there's space to run as a continuation. Um, so that's just the nature of the game, man. They don't want the market doesn't want you to be successful, so they just kind of get you out of the liquidity, and then you're trapped. And so shorts get squeezed. So let's see what happens today, but I'm expecting we could potentially, retest these highs and get up to 17. But again, just an idea. I had a very small position. I think it was like 10.50, 10.60 or something like that. So it's up 50, 60 cents right now. Not a big deal. Swing trade, but I try not to swing trade too much. So, all right, guys, good luck. That should be it. It's around 6:15, about 15 minutes till open, but those are kind of the ideas. And again, just to go through it again with coin, got some calls yesterday as I see the positive momentum. So we can hopefully get back up here and break the highs of 258 because that seems to be resistance. And so I expect us to blow through that and make our way march to 280. So those are my calls, and give it some time to work. Give it a few days and see what we're going. And it actually just got a raise on a price target too, so that's helpful. All right, guys, thank you.